Welcome to BritBuzz. Today, we're exploring the remarkable life and reign of Queen Elizabeth II, the longest-serving British monarch in history. Queen Elizabeth II, born Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor on April 21, 1926, had an upbringing rooted in tradition and service. Born in a townhouse at 17 Bruton Street, Mayfair, London, she was the first child of the Duke and Duchess of York, later King George VI and Queen Elizabeth. At birth, Elizabeth wasn't expected to become queen, as her father was second in line to the throne after his brother, Edward VIII. Family background and early childhood. Elizabeth was part of the House of Windsor, a dynasty established by her grandfather, King George V. Her mother, Lady Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon, was known for her charisma and commitment to public service, which influenced Elizabeth's approach to her royal duties. Elizabeth's only sibling, Princess Margaret, was born in 1930. The sisters were close, sharing a strong bond throughout their lives. Her family life was relatively private and sheltered in her early years, with homes at 145 Piccadilly, London, and the Royal Lodge in Windsor Great Park. Elizabeth's upbringing was shaped by the loving, yet formal, standards of royal protocols. Education. Unlike traditional school settings, Elizabeth received her education at home under the tutelage of governesses. Marion Crawford, her Scottish governess known affectionately as Crawfie, played an important role in her learning, emphasizing history, language, literature, and music. Elizabeth showed a particular aptitude for constitutional history and law, preparing her for her future role as queen. Her religious instruction came from the Archbishop of Canterbury. The abdication crisis and its impact. A major turning point in Elizabeth's life came in 1936 when her uncle, King Edward VIII, abdicated the throne to Mary Wallace Simpson, an American divulgative copyrightee. This unexpected decision made Elizabeth's father the new king, King George VI, and subsequently placed Elizabeth as the heir presumptive at the age of 10. Life during World War II. World War II marked a defining era in Elizabeth's adolescence. The royal family stayed at Buckingham Palace during bombings to show solidarity with the British public, though they often spent nights at Windsor Castle for safety. At the age of 14, Elizabeth made her first public speech in 1940 on the BBC's Children's Hour, addressing evacuated children. In 1945, eager to contribute directly, she joined the Auxiliary Territorial Service, ATS, and trained as a mechanic and truck driver, becoming the first female member of the royal family to serve in the armed forces. This experience symbolized her dedication to her country and earned her admiration. Personal interests and hobbies. Elizabeth developed lifelong interests that began in her childhood. She had a love for animals, especially horses and dogs. Her first pony, Baggy, was given to her when she was 4. Sparking her passion for horseback riding and equestrian activities. This passion for horses extended into adulthood, leading her to become an accomplished horse breeder and racer. Elizabeth also adored corgis, a breed synonymous with her public image. Path to the throne. With King George VI's declining health in the late 1940s and early 1950s, Elizabeth began taking on more official duties. In 1947, she married Philip Mountbatten, a former Prince of Greece and Denmark, in a highly publicized wedding at Westminster Abbey. The couple's first child, Charles, was born in 1948, followed by Anne in 1950. King George VI's death on February 6, 1952, while Elizabeth was in Kenya on a royal tour, propelled her to the throne at the age of 25. The young queen returned home to assume her new responsibilities, with her coronation taking place on June 2, 1953, at Westminster Abbey, an event broadcast globally and symbolizing the dawn of a new Elizabethan era. Queen Elizabeth II's accession to the throne and coronation marked pivotal moments in British history, symbolizing a transition and continuity of the monarchy in the mid-20th century. Accession to the throne. Elizabeth became queen on February 6, 1952, following the unexpected death of her father, King George VI, who had been battling health issues, including lung cancer. Elizabeth, only 25 years old at the time, was in Kenya with Prince Philip on a royal tour. The news of her father's passing reached her while staying at the Treetops Hotel, a significant event as it marked the first time in over 200 years that a British monarch had acceded to the throne while abroad. Upon learning of her father's death, Elizabeth returned to London immediately. Her accession was formally declared by the Accession Council, a body consisting of members of the Privy Council, peers, and senior civil servants. The announcement of her reign was greeted with a mixture of mourning for the late king and anticipation for the young queen's leadership. Preparations for the coronation. The planning for Queen Elizabeth II's coronation began soon after her accession, but the ceremony itself was scheduled over a year later to allow for a proper period of mourning and preparation. The coronation aimed to showcase a blend of traditional grandeur and the emerging modern world, with efforts made to ensure that the event was accessible and inclusive. The coronation ceremony. Queen Elizabeth II's coronation took place on June 2, 1953, at Westminster Abbey, where British monarchs have been crowned for nearly a millennium. It was officiated by Geoffrey Fisher, the Archbishop of Canterbury. The ceremony followed traditions dating back centuries, including the anointing with holy oil, the delivery of the coronation oath, and the crowning itself. Key elements of the ceremony included: the procession. The Queen's journey to Westminster Abbey featured an elaborate procession through the streets of London, witnessed by thousands of onlookers. The coronation chair. Elizabeth was seated in the ancient coronation chair, which houses the stone of Scone, used in the crowning of English and later British monarchs since the 13th century. The anointing and oath. Elizabeth took the traditional coronation oath, swearing to govern the peoples of her realms according to their respective laws and customs, uphold the Protestant faith, and preserve the rights of the Church of England. The crowning. She was crowned with St. Edward's crown, a solid gold piece weighing over 4 pounds and adorned with 444 precious stones. This marked the official moment of her becoming queen. Global and cultural impact. Elizabeth's coronation was the first to be televised, a groundbreaking decision that brought the monarchy closer to the public and highlighted the changing times. An estimated 27 million people in the United Kingdom watched the broadcast, and millions more followed around the world. This coverage underscored the global reach of the British Empire and signaled a shift toward a more transparent and publicly engaged royal family. The ceremony was infused with pomp and pageantry, featuring members of various Commonwealth nations, showcasing the unity and diversity of Elizabeth's realms. Dignitaries and heads of state from across the world attended, emphasizing her position not only as the Queen of the United Kingdom but as a prominent global figure. Legacy of the coronation. Queen Elizabeth II's coronation set the stage for her reign, emphasizing themes of duty, tradition, and modernization. The televised event fostered newfound closeness between the British people and their sovereign, reinforcing the monarchy's relevance in the contemporary era. Her coronation also solidified her commitment to a lifelong service, a theme that she carried throughout her historic reign. The symbolism of the event, juxtaposed with the challenges of post-war recovery and the slow dismantling of the British Empire, painted Elizabeth as a stabilizing figure amid profound global and domestic change. Queen Elizabeth II's reign, which lasted from 1952 until her death in 2022, was marked by profound changes and numerous challenges, both within the United Kingdom and globally. Her era spanned over 70 years, making her the longest-reigning monarch in British history. Here's an overview of her reign and the challenges she faced. Early reign and post-war rebuilding. When Queen Elizabeth II descended to the throne, the United Kingdom was still grappling with the effects of World War II, facing economic hardship and a shifting global order. The early years of her reign saw significant efforts to rebuild the economy and modernize British society. The monarchy had to adapt to the era of decolonization, as nations across Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean sought independence from British rule. Elizabeth's role was to navigate this transition while maintaining positive relations within the evolving Commonwealth of Nations. Decolonization and Commonwealth relations. The 1950s and 1960s were characterized by the rapid decline of the British Empire. Former colonies gained independence, and Elizabeth's diplomatic role evolved to foster a new relationship with these nations under the Commonwealth umbrella. Her visits to newly independent countries and efforts to build bridges solidified her image as a unifying figure who supported peaceful transitions and partnerships. However, the process was complex, as it involved balancing traditional loyalties and the aspirations of emerging nations. Family scandals and public scrutiny. The latter part of Elizabeth's reign was marked by increased public scrutiny of the royal family. The monarchy faced intense media attention, especially regarding the marriages and personal lives of Elizabeth's children, Prince Charles and Princess Diana. The marriage of Charles and Diana Spencer in 1981 initially captured public adoration but later led to highly publicized challenges. Their separation in 1992 and subsequent divorce in 1996 were accompanied by controversies that damaged the public perception of the royal family. The tragic death of Diana in 1997 further tested the monarchy, as the public criticized the royal response, viewing it as emotionally detached. The Annus Horribilis of 1992, in a speech marking the 40th anniversary of her accession, Elizabeth referred to 1992 as her Annus Horribilis, due to the series of personal and public setbacks, including the breakdown of Charles and Diana's marriage, the divorces of Princess Anne and Prince Andrew, and a major fire at Windsor Castle. Modernization of the monarchy. To respond to shifting public expectations, Elizabeth made efforts to modernize their monarchy. Televised events. Her reign pioneered the use of television to broadcast significant royal events, including her coronation and annual Christmas messages, fostering a sense of connection with the public. Public engagement. The Queen introduced changes to make the monarchy more accessible, such as participating in public walkabouts, which became a hallmark of her public appearances. Reform of royal finances. By the 1990s, facing economic challenges and pressure for transparency, Elizabeth agreed to reforms that included paying income tax and opening Buckingham Palace to the public for tours to generate revenue. Constitutional crises and political challenges during her reign. Elizabeth too had to navigate several constitutional and political issues. UK politics. Elizabeth worked with over 15 prime ministers, from Winston Churchill to Liz Truss, maintaining a constitutional role of impartiality while advising and being informed about state affairs. Northern Ireland. The Queen witnessed the Troubles, a period of violent conflict between Unionists and Nationalists. Her meeting with Martin McGuinness, a former IRA leader turned Deputy First Minister, in 2012 was seen as a significant gesture toward peace and reconciliation. Scottish independence referendum, 2014. Elizabeth had to remain neutral during Scotland's bid for independence. While publicly impartial, reports suggested she privately expressed hope that the United Kingdom would stay united, which it ultimately did following the referendum's results. The role of the Commonwealth. As the head of the Commonwealth, Elizabeth worked to maintain the unity of an increasingly diverse group of nations. Her commitment was evident through numerous tours and engagements. Despite challenges such as the apartheid policies in South Africa and other political upheavals within member states, she positioned herself as a stabilizing force that symbolized shared heritage and cooperation. Personal losses and later years. The Queen faced personal challenges in her later years, including the loss of her husband, Prince Philip, who passed away in 2021 after 73 years of marriage. The COVID-19 pandemic tested the resilience of the monarchy, but Elizabeth's address to the nation highlighting unity with the phrase "we will meet again" resonated widely and reinforced her role as a source of comfort. Legacy of duty and adaptation. Elizabeth's reign was marked by her unwavering commitment to her role, famously encapsulated in her declaration, "I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service." Her resilience in the face of both personal and public challenges define her tenure as a period of immense continuity amidst rapid change. Queen Elizabeth II's personal life was characterized by her commitment to duty, but it was also marked by deep personal relationships, traditions, and interests that gave insight into the woman behind the crown. Here's an overview of her personal life. Family background and early years. Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor was born on April 21, 1926, As the first child of the Duke and Duchess of York, who later became King George VI and Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, she grew up in a loving, albeit formal, environment with her sister, Princess Margaret, with whom she shared a close bond. Despite being born into a privileged setting, Elizabeth experienced a somewhat sheltered upbringing. She was educated at home under the guidance of Marion Crawford, known as Crawfie, learning history, literature, language, and the religious values that would shape her reign. Marriage to Prince Philip. One of the most significant aspects of Elizabeth's personal life was her marriage to Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. The two met when Elizabeth was only 13, and Philip, 5 years her senior, was a cadet at the Royal Naval College, Dartmouth. Their romance blossomed, and they married on November 20, 1947, at Westminster Abbey, an event that was celebrated worldwide as Britain was still recovering from the hardships of World War II. Their marriage was seen as a partnership built on love, mutual respect, and shared responsibility. Philip was known for his outspoken and sometimes unconventional personality, which complemented Elizabeth's more reserved nature. The couple had 4 children: Prince Charles, 1948, heir to the throne; Princess Anne, 1950, known for her strong work ethic and dedication to public service; Prince Andrew, 1960. His life later became controversial due to his associations and legal issues; Prince Edward, 1964, often regarded as the most private of their children. Elizabeth and Philip celebrated more than 70 years of marriage until his death in April 2021 at the age of 99. His passing marked the end of the longest royal partnership in British history. Hobbies and interests. Despite her busy schedule, Queen Elizabeth II maintained personal interests that brought her joy: animals. Elizabeth had a lifelong passion for animals, especially horses and corgis. She began riding at a young age and owned horses throughout her life, participating in horse racing as an owner and breeder. Her corgis, starting with Susan, a gift for her 18th birthday, became an iconic part of her public image. Equestrian activities. Her love for equestrian sports included attending races like the Royal Ascot, where she was often seen beaming with excitement. Her knowledge of horse breeding and racing was renowned, and she passed this interest on to other members of her family. Dogs. Besides corgis, Elizabeth also had Dorcas, a crossbreed of corgis and dachshunds, which she bred after one of her corgis mated with a dachshund owned by Princess Margaret. Personality and public perception. Queen Elizabeth was known for her composed, calm demeanor and sharp wit. While she often appeared formal in public, those who knew her closely described her as having a great sense of humor and an infectious laugh. This side of her personality was rarely seen publicly but sometimes shown through during candid moments, such as her playful interaction with Paddington Bear in a video segment for her Platinum Jubilee celebrations. Strong sense of duty and faith. Elizabeth's sense of duty was rooted in her deep faith, influenced by her upbringing and reinforced by her position as Supreme Governor of the Church of England. She often referenced her Christian beliefs in her Christmas broadcasts, speaking about themes of compassion, service, and resilience. Close relationships. While her life was marked by public service, Elizabeth maintained close relationships with a small circle of friends and family members. Her bond with her sister Princess Margaret was particularly notable. Although the two had differing personalities, Elizabeth being more reserved and Margaret more flamboyant, they shared a strong sisterly connection. Her relationship with Prince Philip was described as the cornerstone of her personal and public life. Friends and aides often remarked on how much Philip's support meant to her, referring to him as her strength and stay. Additionally, she was a devoted grandmother to 8 grandchildren and great-grandmother to a growing number of great-grandchildren. This side of her life showed her in a more relaxed light, participating in family gatherings and taking joy in their accomplishments. Challenges in family life. Like any family, Elizabeth's experienced its share of difficulties. Prince Charles and Princess Diana's marriage. The tumultuous relationships between Charles and Diana brought intense media scrutiny and personal distress. The public divorce and Diana's tragic death in 1997 placed significant pressure on the Queen and the monarchy's public image. Scandals and controversies. Other challenges included the controversial friendships between Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein, leading to Andrew stepping back from public duties. Tensions with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The decision by Prince Harry and Meghan to step back from royal duties and move to the US strained family dynamics. The Queen publicly expressed love for the couple while navigating the challenges of managing the royal institution. Later years and legacy. In her later years, Elizabeth focused on gradually delegating duties to younger royals, especially Prince Charles and Prince William. Despite declining health, she remained committed to her role and continued to fulfill key duties, including appointing Liz Truss as Prime Minister just days before her death in September 2022. Queen Elizabeth II's personal life was characterized by her loyalty, grace, and dedication to family and service. Her legacy is that of a monarch who balanced public duties with personal interests, embodying stability, continuity, and adaptability throughout her reign. Queen Elizabeth II's legacy is vast and multidimensional, encompassing her role as a steadfast monarch, a global symbol of continuity, and a figure who adeptly navigated 7 decades of social and political change. Here is a detailed look at the different facets of her legacy. 1. Longest reigning monarch in British history. Elizabeth's reign lasted 70 years, from 1952 to 2022. Making her the longest reigning monarch in British history and one of the longest reigning in world history. This unparalleled duration underscored her role as a symbol of stability during a period that witnessed profound changes in society, technology, and global politics. Her tenure provided a sense of continuity and reassurance as the world shifted from the post-war period into the 21st century. 2. Modernization of the monarchy. Elizabeth II modernized the British monarchy, transitioning it from a more reserved, distant institution to one that was more transparent and accessible. This transformation was crucial in maintaining its relevance, television and media presence. She was the first monarch to have her coronation televised, allowing millions to witness this historic event, which symbolized the opening of the royal family to greater public scrutiny and engagement. Adaptability. Elizabeth introduced new approaches to public engagements, such as the walkabouts, where she directly interacted with citizens. These interactions helped humanize their monarchy and foster a deeper connection with the public. Technological embrace. She embraced technological changes, including the advent of the internet and social media. Her Christmas broadcasts evolved from radio addresses to televised and online events, showing her willingness to adapt. 3. Diplomatic influence and the Commonwealth. As the head of the Commonwealth of Nations, Elizabeth was instrumental in maintaining a sense of unity among its diverse member states, particularly during the wave of decolonization in the mid-20th century. Her dedication to fostering good relations within the Commonwealth emphasized cooperation and mutual respect, even as many former colonies transitioned to independence. The Queen's visits to Commonwealth countries and efforts to build partnerships were key in shaping the image of a modern, global British monarchy. Her diplomatic acumen helped maintain Britain's influence on the world stage, even as its geopolitical power diminished. 4. Representation of duty and service. One of Elizabeth II's most defining attributes was her unwavering sense of duty. Her famous pledge, made on her 21st birthday in 1947, encapsulated her lifelong dedication. "I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service." This promise resonated throughout her reign, manifesting in her consistent work ethic and presence at public events, even into her later years. Her dedication was evident during challenging periods, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, when her address to the nation "We will meet again" offered comfort and resilience to millions. 5. Response to crisis and scandals. Elizabeth's legacy includes her measured responses to various crises that tested the monarchy's resilience. Diana's death in 1997, the public criticism that followed Diana's death and the initial reaction of the royal family showcased Elizabeth's ability to adapt. After acknowledging public sentiment, she delivered a heartfelt tribute, emphasizing her humanity and willingness to evolve in response to public expectations. Family challenges. Elizabeth's reign was marked by family difficulties, including the controversies surrounding Prince Andrew and the public exit of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. These issues highlighted the balance she had to strike between personal loyalty and protecting the integrity of the monarchy. 6. Cultural impact and popular perception. Elizabeth was not just a monarch, she was a cultural icon. Her image appeared in countless forms, from currency to media portrayals in films and series like The Crown. While these dramatizations sparked public interest and debate, they also underscored the Queen's significant place in popular culture. Her signature style, matching coats and hats, pearls, and handbags became symbols of regal elegance and consistency. Even in her later years, she remained active, appearing in events like her Platinum Jubilee celebrations, which included a surprise sketch with Paddington Bear that showcased her sense of humor and warmth. 7. A global symbol of stability throughout global shifts. A post-war recovery, the Cold War, the rise and fall of the British Empire, technological advancements, and modern geopolitical tension set Elizabeth to remain a constant figure. Her reign connected generations, from those who remembered the aftermath of World War II to those growing up in the digital age. 8. Transition and succession planning. Elizabeth's later years focused on preparing for a smooth transition to the next generation of royal leadership. She delegated more responsibilities to Prince Charles and other members of the royal family, ensuring the monarchy's stability beyond her reign. This forward-thinking approach reinforced her commitment to the continuity of the institution. 9. Personal legacy of faith and resilience. Her deep Christian faith was a cornerstone of her character, providing her with a sense of purpose and strength throughout her life. She often spoke of her beliefs in her annual Christmas broadcasts, using them to inspire hope and reflection among her listeners. Conclusion. Queen Elizabeth II's legacy is one of dedication, adaptability, and continuity. She upheld the monarchy during an era of unprecedented change, evolving with the times while preserving the traditions and duties that defined her role. Her influence extended beyond the United Kingdom, making her a beloved and respected figure around the world. In conclusion, Queen Elizabeth II's legacy is defined by her steadfast dedication, adaptability, and embodiment of stability throughout an era of dramatic global change. As the longest-reigning monarch in British history, she navigated a path that balanced tradition with modernization, maintaining the monarchy's relevance across 7 decades. Her role as a unifying figure extended beyond the United Kingdom to the Commonwealth of Nations, fostering a sense of shared identity among diverse nations. Elizabeth's profound sense of duty and service, anchored by her personal faith and resilience, inspired respect and admiration across generations. From handling family and political crises with composed leadership to embracing technological advances and public engagements, she successfully adapted the monarchy to meet evolving public expectations. Her ability to respond to challenges, such as Diana's death and subsequent public scrutiny, demonstrated her capacity for empathy and change. Her personal life, filled with joys, sorrows, and deep-rooted family bonds, revealed a more relatable side to a queen who was both a devoted wife and a grandmother. Her unique blend of regal poise and subtle warmth, showcased in memorable moments like her Platinum Jubilee sketch with Paddington Bear, reinforced her connection with the public. Ultimately, Queen Elizabeth II leaves behind a legacy of continuity, leadership, and an enduring reminder of the monarchy's role as a bridge between history and the present. The world will remember her as a symbol of unwavering service and an icon whose influence transcended national boundaries. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more exciting content.